Hello everyone, Ember here, and welcome back to a new video. In this one, I'd like to take a look at the Team Plasma support in GLC in part 2. So the only difference really from part 1 is I'm just going to recap some of the trainers I looked at in part 1, as well as go over several different types that I didn't cover in part 1 as well. So I would recommend watching part 1 just to get the full thoughts on all the trainers, as well as the other missing types that won't be covered in this video. So yeah, as to start with, we have some stadiums and energy, and my thoughts haven't changed really. I think Frozen City is still the vastly superior stadium of choice. Frozen City just affects any non-Team Plasma Pokemon, so I would highly recommend Frozen City if you're considering building a Team Plasma deck. But even if you're not, like Frozen City has so many great applications for spread decks as well, so yeah, would highly recommend Frozen City. Plasma Frigate is still cool and like it can turn off weakness, which is really nice, but it does require you to have a Team Plasma energy attached to one of your Team Plasma Pokemon. So, yeah, well, it can be attached to a non-Team Plasma Pokemon if you really wanted to, and then you could turn off weakness of that Pokemon. But like weakness policy is just so much easier to do, and you can find weakness policy with things like Arven. So, yeah, I would recommend that over playing Frigate. Sadly. Next up, those we've got some supporters, and once again, Colress is definitely the best supporter here. Just a very, very good supporter for GLC in general. Although honorable shout outs to Getsis, which I think is really cool. Admittedly, I think Getsis is only really good when your opponent has like a massive hand size, and then Airy kind of comes in clutch a bit more often just because you get the choice. But yeah, Getsis still a very nice card overall. Team Plasma Grunt is not bad. I think I gave it kind of a bad rating, the last one that I did for this, but like discard a Team Plasma Pokemon, draw 4, like, and if you really want to build up a giant hand size, then okay, you could do way worse if you're going to be playing a lot of Team Plasma Pokemon, like especially if you're building around so many of like Psychic and Water, for example, have a ton of Team Plasma Pokemon. So Team Plasma Grunt's not the worst. Also, Shadow Triad just allows you to retrieve a Team Plasma card. Would recommend this one. It's really nice just for getting back things like the stadiums that you wouldn't otherwise be able to retrieve that easily, but also just certain Team Plasma Pokemon that you might want in a moment's notice. It means you get back Getsis or Colress or Team Plasma Grunt, so it's effectively like another Via Seeker or a Palpad straight to the hand, which is really nice. So yeah, I would recommend Shadow Triad, again, if you're leaning into Team Plasma. Next up is we have items and tools, and yeah, I think Reversal Trigger and Team Plasma Ball are still the best items here. Hypnotoxic Laser is not bad though, like inflicting poison, and on a coin flip you can also inflict the Asleep special condition, which does have like a little bit of synergy, I guess, with the Slumbering Forest Stadium, which is getting a bit convoluted, but if you really wanted to like build around special conditions and Asleep, and I mentioned this in the last video, but like poison types, grass types, all those types that really like to work with special conditions could really find a place for this as well. So having laser built into those decks is really nice. But yeah, Team Plasma Ball, just finding any Team Plasma Pokemon is obviously really helpful. And then Reversal Trigger allows you to tutor any one card out your deck after this Team Plasma Pokemon gets KO'd. So yeah, very useful overall. Colorless Machine is like not terrible, but it can charge up an energy, so if you really, really wanted to use it, then it's there as an option. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend Colress Machine. It's a bit redundant, I would say, most of the time. But yeah, the first type that we can cover in this video is going to be fire types. Now, some of these I definitely think are a bit more impressive than others. Like Infernape, for example, I don't think is that impressive, but I think this is the single biggest Pokemon that has a Torment attack. And what I mean by that is, like, HP wise, like, usually we see Sableye and things with Torment that will have like 70 HP or 80 HP. So, like, 130 is a sizable upgrade. So, if you wanted to put like Electro Cape on this, then it would be very big at that point. And then you could like Torment for days, and hopefully your opponent won't be able to KO you with other attacks, but they'll still be able to like switch and attack with other Pokemon as well. But it is the biggest Torment I think we have in the game, which is kind of cool. So I thought that was worth mentioning. Volcarona is also really interesting with Solar Transporter. Reveal the top 5 cards of your deck and put all Team Plasma cards you find there into your hand, which could be useful in a Team Plasma deck, but the other application is discard all the other cards. So if you're only playing like Volcarona as a single Team Plasma card in your deck, then this is always going to be a guaranteed mill 5 on your part. And I can't really think off the top of my head about like any fire types that would really want to pair this up with, apart from, like maybe the Flareon here with Vengeance. But I do think overall there could be like a really fun fire type eventually added to GLC that does like a ton of damage if you only have, say, 5 cards left in the deck. That sort of thing. So I do quite like Volcarona. I think it's interesting and definitely worth keeping an eye on for the future. But yeah, as just mentioned, Flareon's kind of fun, like 20 damage and 10 more damage to each Pokemon in your discard pile. But just like all the other evolutions, there is sadly no fire type Eevee. So you will have to get like a Dream Ball combo involved if you want to get Flareon out onto the bench. This Chandelure is not terrible. Flare Navigate allows you to search your deck for Foundry attached to one of your Pokemon, which also puts a damage counter on that Pokemon. So if we ever see like a fire type that does a whole ton of like outrage damage, I think there might be a Heatran that has synergy with this. But overall, in case we get like a really crazy damage modifier or like a fire type that does a whole ton of damage, if it has any damage counters on it already, then I do think this Chandelure could be useful. But some fun options overall for fire types. Next up is we have lightning types. As you can see, Electrode is very angry there that I had to shrink him right down to fit on the slide. But yeah, Electros, Jolteon, and Electrode I don't think are the best here. Like, the Electros could be somewhat usable, but like the thing is you don't really want to evolve your Electrike that has Dynamotor, so like it's a fun option, I guess. Like if you're putting a load of light energy in play, then Electros could just like really come in there for final KO. So it's not like the worst card in the world, I guess, but excuse me, like I don't think it's like the best thing option either. It's like it's just not great. But Crash and Burn, like it could be Crush and Burn rather, like it could be useful sometimes. Jolteon's pretty trash. Electrode's pretty trash. Magnezone's kind of fun though. Like you can play 2 supporter cards in your turn, which is glorious. I don't know how this interacts with Lieutenant Surge, although Lieutenant Surge might already be banned in GLC. So yeah, that might not be a possible combo regardless. But Dual Brains, still a very cool rule. It means you could do things like Xerastic and Team Rocket's handiwork. You could play a Judge and then Xerastic, so you could force your opponent down to 1 card in their hand or something. So yeah, I think Magnezone's really fun. A lot of really cool options there. Rotom's honestly not that bad. Like Poltergeist doing 20 damage for each trainer card in your opponent's hand. So if they have like a massive hand size, then you could potentially take a one-shot with Poltergeist, which is cool. And Electri bonus, also allowing you to discard Lightning Tree from your hand and draw 3. This is where like that TM Colress machine thing comes in handy, because you could use the Colress machine to then put an energy on Rotom, and then also manually attach, and then turn 1 going second, use Poltergeist. So, that is possible, right? But yeah, it's kind of a niche situation for it to happen, but, all the pieces would have to align. You'd have to get really lucky with Pokemon draws. But I think overall, though, there's some, like, fun combos, at least, for Lightning types. So yeah, pretty good overall, I would say. Next up is we have water types, and as you can see, there is a lot of water types. So yeah, a lot of really fun options, like Frostlass I think is really cool. Galele is alright. Relincanth can recover some fossils with items, so like item cards with fossils in the name, which is nice. We've also got this Glaceon that can reduce retreat cost by -2, which is nice. To be honest, like I wish Glaceon had been more of like a disruptive piece, like increasing retreat cost of non-Team Plasma Pokemon, but like maybe that would have been a bit too broken at the time of this releasing in Standard. But yeah, that Glaceon's a bit of a shame because it's not really enough of a buff for like a stage 1 Pokemon that you have to like cheat out to play, because again, there's no water type Eevee. So honestly, Tricky Jim, please fix that rule. Just allow Eevee to be playable in GLC. It would really, it would help so many things out. But yeah, Vaporeon is kind of trash. Seismitoad is interesting. I think it's one of the few water types that actually has an Earthquake attack. So it does 30 damage to each bench Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's. So if we ever get like a massive Earthquake style water type attacker that does like 50 damage for each of your water type Pokemon that has any damage counters on them, then this Seismitoad would have really good synergy with that. Also got this Vanillix, which does have a very funny attack, Chili Max, or Chill Max, which, that's cool. Bit of a VMAX foreshadowing there, I guess. But, like, yeah, you do need to stack a lot of energy on Vanillix, which, okay, got back to Caliber and Frostmoth, so it's not like the worst thing in the world. So, kind of fun, and I do like it when Vanillix gets fun cards. So, yeah, a lot of really fun water types in this one. Also got some more water types, and I would say the gold standard of Team Plasma Pokemon in general is probably this Kyurem, like Frost Spear, very iconic attack. 30 damage, and then 30 damage for one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So again, like you could use Colress Machine, you could use Crispin, you could use Raihan, all these different options for getting this powered up nice and quickly, but of course, more of a spread deck piece, I would say. Sharpedo is okay, like when it gets damaged, you put 2 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. Cryogonal can discard energy, attach his Pokemon, and then the defending Pokemon just can't attack. So if you really want to do some control shenanigans, then Cryogonal got you back. Jellicent has... What does Jellicent's ability do, actually? Okay, so if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon and is knocked out, then your opponent's active Pokemon is confused and poisoned. Oh, that's interesting, actually. So if we have any like water types that interact with special conditions in a meaningful way, then this Jellicent could be useful. Beartic is not bad. 20 damage times the number of damage counters on this Pokemon. Okay, so there's like some synergy with Seismitoad. So you could like damage this Beartic several times with Seismitoad and then like have Beartic one-shot something. You know, that's kind of cool at the very least. So yeah, some fun options I would say for water types. Next up is we have metal types though, and Escavalier I think falls into the same category as Steelix, where their basic Pokemon like doesn't match the type. There might be a metal type Onix, might be. I know that there is a fighting type Steelix, which is I might be getting a bit confused here, but I don't think there's a metal type Onix. I'll have to double check that. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame that there is no metal type Onix. One day maybe. But yeah, there's no metal type Carablast for sure, so that sucks. Poor Escavalier. But yeah, Skarmory is a bit more useful, like discard a Team Plasma card, draw 3 is absolutely fine. Steel Wing's a bit rubbish though, 40 damage for 3 energy, like, this is painfully bad. Klinklang is... okay, Klinklang's pretty redundant. I thought Klinklang had like a better ability, but it only affects Pokemon EX, so yeah, definitely not useful in GLC. And then the Durants are just like not very good. So unfortunately, metal types really got a poor showing here. I would say water types and fire types are winning this overall, to be honest. But yeah, thank you for watching. Part 1 did cover Psychic, Dark, Grass, and Colors. So if you're interested in seeing what those types look like in Team Plasma, then feel free, to check out Part 1. But hopefully, overall, this video just served as a useful introduction to Team Plasma in GLC. And if you'd like to see the other teams in this style, then do let me know. Also, be sure to check out the Many of GLC series that's on the channel, and the GLC playlist for more content on the format overall. Yes, been Ember Power, let me know what you think about Team Plasma. Will you be trying out the Team Plasma GLC deck? And yeah, thank you for watching.